Pre-statistics. Linear functions. Lesson objectives. Determine the linear function given 2 points, and we will do this algebraically, and then I'll show you how to do it using technology. Number 2, model a real-life situation using a linear function. Lesson objective number 1. Let's begin by talking about linear functions. A linear function is a function that can be written in the form y equals mx plus b. We also call this the slope-intercept form. M is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Now we know there's a special relationship between the inputs and the outputs of a function. So the inputs of a linear function are the values of x and the outputs are the value of y. We can use this input-output relationship of a function to make predictions. In this class, we will use linear, quadratic, exponential, and other functions to make predictions. This is one of the uses of studying functions. To find a linear function algebraically by using 2 points, our first step is to use the slope formula to find the slope of the line that contains the 2 points. Second step, we substitute this value back into the equation y equals mx plus b. So we find the value of m and we substitute it into y equals mx plus b. Number 3, we substitute the coordinates of one of the given points into the equation that we formed in step 2, and then we solve for b. Step number 4, we substitute the b value that we found in step 3 into the equation that we found in step 2. So our first step is to find the value of m, our second step is to find the value of b, and then we substitute those 2 values into y equals mx plus b. And number 5, to verify, we check that the graph of the equation has the 2 given points. Let's do an example. Find the equation of the line that passes through the points 6, -2 and -3, 7. So solution, our first step is to find the slope. Using our slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, we have 7 minus -2 over -3 minus 6. This becomes 9 over -9, and this reduces to a -1. So our slope m is equal to a -1. Next step, we need to find the value of b. So substituting m into the equation, we have y equals -x plus b. If I use the point -3, 7, -3 is the x-coordinate, 7 is the y-coordinate, we're going to substitute those values into this equation. So y equals -x plus b becomes 7 equals -1 times -3 plus b. -1 times -3 is positive 3. So we have 7 equals 3 plus b. We're solving for b. So we subtract 3 to both sides and we see that b is 4. So the y-intercept's 4. Now, if I was to use the second point, 6, -2, substitute those x and y coordinates into this equation, we would have -2 equals -1 times 6 plus b, which gives us -2 equals -6 plus b. Adding 6 to both sides, we see that b is 4. So it doesn't matter what point that you pick, you're still going to get the same value for b. So our final answer would be y equals -x plus 4. Now let me show you how to do this using your graphing calculator. So the graphing calculator has a statistical command and it's labeled linreg ax plus b. This is short for linear regression, and this is also known as the line of best fit. We will learn more about linear regression later on in the course, but for right now we will use this command to calculate the line containing the 2 given points. We're going to use the same points, 6, -2, -3, and 7. So here I'm using a TI-84. The directions are exactly the same for using an 83. Our first step is we want to hit stat, then enter for number 1, which is edit. We want to put the x coordinates in y1, the y coordinates in y2. So this will be 6, enter, -3, enter. Airing over to y2, our y coordinates are -2 and 7. So these are the two given points. Now we need to find the linear regression command. So we go back to stat. We need to move it from edit to calculate. So we use the right arrow key. And number 4 is linear regression. Now this is what it looks like for the TI-84. The 83 looks a little bit different, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. But let's go ahead and finish it for the 84. So X list is list 1, that's our X coordinates. Y list is list 2, that's our Y coordinates. We want to scroll down to where it says calculate. So using the down arrow, we go to calculate and hit enter. Okay, so we have y equals ax plus b. So this calculator is calling m a, that's a -1, and then b is 4. So our equation is y equals -x plus 4. Exactly the same answer that we got when we did it algebraically. Using a TI-83 instead of an 84, again, we go to stat, we enter our x values in list 1, the y values in list 2. We go over to calculate, number 4, and when we press number 4, it takes us back to the home screen, and then all we have to do is hit enter, and it will give us the same output as the 84. Let's do another example. Find the equation of a line that passes through 8, 1 and -12, -9. So the solution, we find the slope first. So we have -9 minus 1 over -12 minus 8. This becomes a -10 over a -20. The negatives cancel, and 10 over 20 reduces to 1/2. So the slope is 1/2. Next, we need to find the value of b. We substitute 1/2 in for m, and then we pick a point and we solve for b. Again, I'm going to show you, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to use the first point and get the value of b, and then the second point, and then I'll show you using the second point we get exactly the same value of b. So using 8, -1, again, our x coordinate is 8, our y coordinate is 1. We substitute those values in this equation. We have y equals 1/2 times our x value, which is 8, plus b. Now we're solving for b. We need to simplify this first. 1/2 times 8 is 4. And solving for b, we subtract 4 to both sides of the equal sign, and we have b is -3. So the y-intercept is a -3. Using the second point, -12, -9, we have the equation -9 equals 1/2 times -12 plus b. 1/2 times -12 is -6. And if we add 6 to both sides to solve for b, we get exactly the same answer, -3. So the final equation is y equals 1/2 x minus 3. Now let's do this on the graphing calculator. Again, we're going to use the same points. The first step, we hit stat, enter for edit. We put in our x coordinates in list 1. So we have 8 and -12. The y coordinates, we have to scoot this up. First y coordinate is 1. The second y coordinate is -9. Next, we go to stat, then to calculate, and then to number 4, We go down to calculate. Now if you're using an 83, as soon as you hit 4, it's going to take you back to the home screen and you just hit enter and you're finished. For this calculator, you have to scroll down to where it says calculate and press enter. And here we see the slope is 1/2 or 0.5 and the value of b is -3. So the equation is y equals 0.5x minus 3. Thanks for watching.